any society that feels threatened, disrespected, and disliked by its own leader will soon resort to public uprising against that leader. We say in Zulu, akuna zinyane lemvula dliwa zingwenya kwacweba iziziba. Coming up, just a couple of weeks ago, Julius Malema, the CIC, was in Nigeria, where he was invited by a Nigerian legal team to come and be their guest speaker. Well, his speech started very well, but later, South African watched in embarrassment and in disappointment when Malema started shooting at them, calling them xenophobic again.
Creating jobs and bringing services. Nigerian businesses, investors, and cultural industries have equally expanded to South Africa. Nigerian music, filmmakers, writers influence South African culture, just as South African universities and industries provide platforms for Nigerian talent. But this cooperation has been uneven and at times marked by suspicion and the painful experience of xenophobia. Let me be unequivocal here. Xenophobia is a betrayal of African unity. It is a sickness born of poverty, inequality, and government failure. But its victims are our African brothers and sisters. Nigerians, Zimbabweans, Congolese, and Somalis are not the cause of the South Africa's unemployment crisis. The cause lies in the untransformed economy of South Africa, which remains in the hands of white minority and multinational corporations who continue to exploit labor while refusing to industrialize. Attacking fellow Africans diverts anger from the real enemy, and we must educate our people that unity, not division, is the solution to the African crisis. If we want to end one-way migration, where Nigerians are forced to leave home in search of opportunity in South Africa, we must integrate our economies.
It was so disappointing to South Africans to hear Malema talking about us on a global stage like that. Yet the elections are just around the corner. Well, South Africans are known to be listening, usually when Malema speaks. I believe this time they have listened. In disappointment, of course, yes, but they listened. You can't go out there, call your fellow citizens xenophobic, and still expect to win elections. In the history of Pan-Africanism, I have never seen any true Pan-Africanist who hated his homeland and its people and won elections. Not Kwame Nkrumah, not Thomas Sankara, not even Patrice Lumumba, who was, by the way, brutally killed and have his body melted in an acid just because he stood for his homeland and his people. Kwame Nkrumah, who doubled his economy, or the economy of his country, Ghana, in the shortest space of time when he was in power. Thomas Sankara, whom everything he did, he said, Burkina Faso first. How about Ibrahim Traore, whom even as we speak, he is saying Burkina Faso first. Burkinabes comes first before I venture out to other country. I have never seen any Pan-Africanist who hated his homeland, his own people, and won the favor of his country and won elections.
Someone says on Twitter, no, leave this thing, we want you to be president, this thing is going to cause votes. I'm like, you can go with those things of president. I must be a president of thugs, of criminals who beat up people. When you are done with Nigerians, when you are done with Mozambicans and Zimbabweans and Zambians, you are going to go for Shangans from Guyana. I have to stop you now before you come to me. South African men, It is us who are committing violent crimes against our women. The problem is with us. Let's solve it. Where there is crime, crime has got no nationality. Crime has got no color. Crime is crime. It must be punishable. Don't tell me, no, Nigerians must stop selling drugs here. No, we don't want them here. If you don't want them here, they are not going to allow South African truck drivers to come into their countries. Therefore, these trucks, even if they are South Africans, they won't have business. Go on, bloody fool.
There is no way Julius can fail so dismally to unite black parties, just black parties for black people in South Africa, and think that he is going to unite Africa. There is no way. If you think that, you are dreaming in color. You are dreaming in full color. Julius Malema told EFF that your enemy number one, your first enemy number one for EFF is MK. And you tell me that somebody who talks like that can unite black people in Africa? Really? We've got ECOWAS, we've got Sahel countries, the Burkina Faso, the Niger. If you already hate black people, hate your own people for that matter, how are you going to unite Africa, Malema? How? Truth be told. Truth be told. How? How? He said that himself. He said so himself. That the enemy number one for EFF, the very same EFF that is Pan-Africanist, the enemy number one of the EFF is not white people, it's not the West about Trump and the Europe, but the enemy number one of the EFF is another black man where Malema is concerned. And tell me a person like that can be a Pan-Africanist? Like a true Pan-Africanist? Oh, this is the same Julius Malema, by the way, who spoke to yet another black man, Pan-Africanist black man, like this.
Hello?
Mr. President.
Look, you see.
Mr. President.
You see now. You see now.
Mr. President.
Mr. President. No, you can't do this. You can't do it. If you don't want sitting, I'm adjourning the house. I'm adjourning the house.
Point of order. Point of order.
I'll kill you outside. After this meeting, I'll kill you. I'll kill you.
Point of order.
How on earth would a Pan-Africanist leader threaten another Pan-Africanist, threaten to kill another black Pan-Africanist? Not tomorrow, not next week, now. And you want us to believe you when you say you are a Pan-Africanist, Julius? True Pan-Africanist?
Malema's interests are not South African. He has no interest whatsoever. His ambitions clearly have got nothing to do with South Africa. Based on what he normally says when he goes overseas. Well, when he goes to Nigeria or other parts of Africa. In Kenya, the patriots of their own government that was before 29 May elections, when he says that when he was in a Kenyan, soil, and he was saying that South Africans have declared war against foreigners, talking nonsense. And then I think he sort of went overboard and overreached and spoke about some local Kenyan politician, opposition leader, and talk against him or something like that. I can't remember what he said. And then the people of Kenya came on social media and told him where to get off, and they said that he must not talk nonsense about that leader. He knows nothing about what's happening there, and as they should.
Malema should stop coming to Kenya and insult our president. In fact, I want to ask the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to demand an apology from Julius Malema and EFF of South Africa, and to deny him visa and passport from coming to Kenya again. Tender and reserved apology, not only to President William Ruto, but to the great people of Kenya. Because when you insult William Ruto as the president of Kenya, you are insulting all of Kenya.
Jambo ambalo kwamba hatukulifurahia kabisa, kuonekana kama nchi yetu ya Kenya hatuna upinzani ambao wanaweza kuzungumza, bali anakuja mpinzani kutoka South Africa kuja kutuzungumzia. Tungemwambia bwana Malema aombe msamaha kwa nchi yetu, aombe msamaha kwa...
Only in Nigeria, whereby he seems to be getting away, with saying whatever he wants to say. He seems to love Nigeria. Most probably his funders come from there. Some of those that fund him. He's got business interests. Because whenever you hear somebody says One Africa, open borders and things like that, you must know that that person's speaking for his own interests. Those interests have got nothing to do with us as ordinary South Africans. Because there is nothing positive that has happened since the coming of Nigerians in this country in droves. And I'm using Nigeria in this instance because that's where Malema went. I can also talk about Zimbabwe. I can also talk about other nationals from other African countries.
He never properly went to school. And he propounds big theories about how Zimbabwe should be run, as if it is his own country. At 43 years of age, he is no longer a youth. Who is he from South Africa to try to tell the youths of Zimbabwe who should be their ruler? Malema, pakati popayama. He has just been in an election. He comes third for a party which broke away from the NC several years ago. Third from Umkondo Wesizwe's MK from Zuma, a party which is hardly 6 months. It's clear that his pseudo-revolutionary message within South Africa has reached a dead end. That's why he could be overtaken. That's why he never made it himself to become the president. So charity begins at home. If you are so good at leadership that you can give strictures to Zimbabwean youth, why not make it success your own homegrown ride to power at Mashambanzo in Pretoria, in Tswane? He can't. He sees himself as the ruler of Zimbabwe. As if the people of Zimbabwe on their own are not enough to be ruling their country. We say to him, keep your dirty hands out of Zimbabwe's affairs, Malema. Focus on trying to win a South African election first. That's why there are boundaries. That's why the Limpopo is a boundary between Zimbabwe and South Africa.
But right now I'm focusing on Nigeria. That when you look at the positives of Nigerians coming into this country, and most of them, if not all, have come in illegally, the net outcome of their contribution in this country is nothing but destruction, illegality, and criminality. The net outcome. So you can't talk Pan-Africanism to us. Doesn't make sense. You are not listening to South Africans. You can't talk Pan-Africanism, Malema, whereas you've said to the MK party when you were here, in your own, they're part of your progressive forces cluster, where you've declared MK party enemy number one. You can't talk Pan-Africanism. I don't understand. How do you then expect to unite continents when you cannot unite as so-called black people in your respective parties?
By the way, the very same country that Julius Malema went to, Nigeria is not Pan-Africanist country. The president of Nigeria, Ebola Tinubu, is not a Pan-Africanist. He doesn't believe in Pan-Africanism at all. Ebola Tinubu, guys, is a leader, is an ECOWAS president. ECOWAS are all the the Francophone countries, all the French-speaking countries that are controlled and ruled by the West. You think why Ebola Tinubu hate Ibrahim Traore with passion? Because Ibrahim Traore is a true Pan-Africanist, but not Tinubu. That's why they don't see eye to eye. Tinubu himself is in bed with France. Yeah. Not Pan-Africanist at all. He doesn't believe in that, and he doesn't like that. I've learned to understand that all these people who say they are Pan-Africanists, they want borders to be open, and don't say anything about their own people, they are just doing that just for their own benefit. Malema, guys, is not for us South Africans. He dislikes us that much. Malema hates us. Malema is not for you South Africans. He has made it so clear. Malema is not for us. Malema doesn't have South Africa's best interest at heart. Not at all. I mean, he has said that himself so many times. Calling us xenophobic, calling us criminals. His own people. His own people. If he could tell you now before he is on power, imagine when he's already in power, what's going to happen? Food for thought. What do you think? Let me have your comment below, and of course, if you are coming for the first time, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.